Welcome, everyone, and thank you for tuning into this episode. Today, we are thrilled to have with us Jordi Serramia, co-founder of Singular Green, a pioneering landscape architecture firm based in Spain. Singular Green specializes in integrating nature and architecture through vertical gardens, green roofs, green shades, and other unique landscaping solutions. Since its inception, the company has been dedicated to enriching urban environments with green spaces, enhancing the quality of life for city dwellers. Jordi, along with his team, continually experiment and evolve, sharing their knowledge to promote healthier, more sustainable, and attractive urban projects. Join us as we delve into Singular Green's journey and discover how they're transforming cities throughout Europe. Jordi, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you very much, Kim. It sounds like we do a lot of fancy things, but I think it's more easy, or at least for me, it's more easy. It's only integrating nature into architecture. It's all.
Just simplistic and holistic. Can you tell us more a little bit about what you do at Singular Green and your mission for the company?
I founded Singular Green. Well, I started doing vertical gardens in 28, like more than 15 years ago. I was a pioneer here in Spain doing vertical gardens, and I don't know if you remember the era of the blogs. I started writing a blog
Okay.
about vertical gardens
Yeah.
when nobody talked about vertical gardens.
Yeah.
So uh, then I started constructing vertical gardens, and then I expand the company to everything that is in relation with nature, natural swimming pools, green roofs, and then we started developing new systems like the green shades.
Did it take a long time for the vertical gardens to take off? Like, if you were pioneering it, did people understand what you were trying to do? Or were people very excited about this new idea that you had? How did that go?
The beginning of vertical gardens, at least here in Spain, was very hard because there were a lot of companies and a lot of architects and a lot of landscapers that invented their own way to make vertical gardens. So in that time, there were a lot of dead vertical gardens along
Yeah.
the way because maybe an architect thought early in the morning that, oh, I know how to do vertical gardens. And he invented a system. And he constructed the vertical garden, and then 2 years later, the vertical garden died because the system was not optimal or was not well controlled. So in the beginning was very hard because companies like us that we had a remote control system and we thought a lot of how plants, which plants we use, how we irrigate, how was the system. We thought the system to be to last along the time. So the beginning was very hard. Now we have a name here in Spain, and things are a lot more easy.
What made you want to start building vertical gardens? What was your background before this? Were you a landscaper? Were you an architect or engineer, or just someone who was passionate about gardening? How did that even come to be?
Right? I'm an architect. I studied architecture, and my partner, the other co-founder of Singular Green, is a forestry engineer.
Oh, wow.
And everybody thinks that I do the architecture, he does the plans, and it's the opposite. I learn and I like the plants and I do the species selection and I know a lot of plants, and he does the architecture. So
And how did you two meet? Did you work on a different project together? Were you friends outside of this company? How did this idea come to be?
Okay, I had a blog called Urban Arbolismo,
Yeah,
and he had a blog called Alicante Forestal, that is like forestry from Alicante. So we live next to each other, but we didn't knew in person, but
yeah,
we knew the blog of each other. And we started collaborating in in a contest, in an architecture contest for river landscaping, landscaping for a river in Elche here near Alicante. And then we understood each other very well, and we started collaborating in some projects. And then we decided that we needed to be together in a company.
I love that you met through blogs and you were just next door to each other.
Hmm?
That's really fun. Can you tell our listeners with your vertical gardens and the company that you have, what are some of the biggest environmental benefits of incorporating vertical gardens and green roofs into cities? Why should people want to do this?
I don't want to talk about the big benefits of vertical gardens because there are a lot of myth about that, about
Mm,
a lot of things that vertical garden can do, or a lot of things that green roofs can do. And maybe it's a matter of using vertical gardens or green roof for specific purposes in a specific projects. For example, this vertical garden I have behind is the vertical
mm.
garden of our office. This vertical garden is designed to purify the air of the office. So I don't. Are you showing the screen in
Yes, people
the
will
podcast?
see your
Okay.
vertical garden.
So let me show you. Here, this is our office.
Mhm.
Okay, and the air goes through the vertical garden I have behind and goes to that white box you see here.
Yeah.
This white box inside is the air conditioning machine, and the air goes to the vertical garden, goes to the air conditioning machine, and returns to the office through that pipe that is above the vertical. So this vertical garden is designed to improve the function of the air conditioning machine.
Mhm.
So it wastes half the energy it would waste if the vertical garden is not there. And also, the vertical garden purifies the air. So it reduces the percentage of nitrogen and other pollutants.
Right.
So vertical gardens can help to air condition a room and can help to reduce pollutants, but only if you dimension and you use the vertical garden inside the project like that. If you use maybe a vertical garden outside, it does not do anything of this.
Right.
Okay, so if you think about the benefits of vertical garden, you need to think in specific projects. I I can construct a vertical garden to purify the air in a specific project. I can construct a vertical garden to improve the bioclimate function of a building by putting in a facade that receives the sun.
That makes
But
sense.
maybe the same vertical garden in the north facade is not useful. So all the benefits of a vertical garden should be constrained to a specific project.
Well, that makes sense. Besides an environmental benefit of cleaning air, purifying air, I will say they just make me happy. I have a coworker all through COVID that had a vertical garden behind him in our Zoom meetings. And every time I saw his vertical garden behind him, it just made me happy. So I think that there is another benefit there, even if no one scientifically measures it, or maybe they do, that is just so nice to bring green indoors.
Yes, and that is not a you can't quantify the benefit,
Hmm.
but maybe it's the most important one
Yeah.
because I always come here to the office to work, and to be in that environment is, um, I mean, you go to work in a different way. I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it.
I think I know. You just kind of feel a little lighter, a little happier. You don't feel maybe the drudgery of everything. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's maybe we all make an image of your workplace in your head,
Hmm.
and when that image have plans, is kind of happier,
Yeah.
and is and you go to work in a different mood. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree. Even when you talk about at work, I know you do vertical gardens for restaurants. I feel like it's the same way if I see a vertical garden or a lot of greenery in a restaurant. It just lifts my mood. It makes me really excited to be there.
In fact, I guess that greenery everywhere always change your mood.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of studies that uh, are into that. I mean, we have done vertical gardens and greenery for hotels, for restaurants, for city councils, for offices. Um, I mean, and everywhere, when you integrate the vertical garden into the design and the plans into the design, is always a psychological burst.
Yes, I love that. A psychological burst. Absolutely. That's a great way to describe it. Um, we've talked a little bit about, or we've talked about the benefit of vertical gardens. I was drawn to you by your work on green shades. Can you talk to us about green shades, what they are, and how they're helpful for cities?
To talk about green shades, I like to talk about how we invented
Yes.
the green shades. Um, in the green shade, the first green shades are installed in a street in Valladolid. It's a 200 meters long street. And in the beginning of the project, we thought about putting trees because a tree is the best natural solution for a city. But the street was so narrow that you can't put trees because the fireman truck cannot access the street.
Right.
So we need to remove the trees and think about something else. Uh, we thought about uh, put some structure with climbing plants, but that kind of a structure had a lot of restrictions from the regulations of what you can put in the street and what not. And also, uh, here we have something that is called procesiones, that people take the saints along the street, and people want to see the saint from the balcony, and you can't put anything in the street that is hard construction. So we needed to think about a way to bring nature to the street, bring shadow to the street without installing anything in the ground and being as less invasive as possible.
Mhm.
And then the green shades came up. We had other prototypes with vertical garden systems installed only in a sheet, only in a layer. So the only thing we had to do is put the vertical garden system horizontally and give them a shape with tensile structure. And we installed the first prototype. It worked, and we did the project.
I think,
So
yeah.
the green shades are a way to bring greenery to a city where you can plant trees, where you can put vertical gardens, where you can put anything, and then the green shades are the solution.
Well, I love that. I feel like you're making it sound easier than it is, perhaps, to the general public or to our listeners, because I love that it is like you're walking underneath of it and you're staying cooler because you're in the shade. And then, like you were saying, the people above it are actually looking down and they're seeing greenery. But I'm sure the irrigation component that you need was not super easy to figure out.
It is not easy, but we have a lot of experience, or we had a lot of experience doing vertical gardens
Hmm.
during 15 years.
Hmm.
So we know how to put irrigation in a very difficult shapes, in a very difficult solutions. Anyway, the only thing that makes functional the green shades, when you see the project, is there is a channel along the whole street. That channel that is also a gardener is planted, brings all the water to the shades, and the excess of water of the shades and the rainwater is collected and goes through that channel to water tanks that are at the end of the street. So uh, everyone sees the green shades,
Hmm.
but no one sees the channel and the whole irrigation structure and the whole drainage structure that is the thing that makes the green shades work.
Yes, absolutely. All that work behind it. And speaking of work like that, um, what are some of the biggest challenges that you have faced implementing sustainable projects?
The main challenges, I think, are regulations,
Mm.
and regulations in the most unthinkable things you could guess. I mean, for example, the main challenge for the green shades was not the technical solution, was not which plants, was uh, to make all the facades accessible for the fire.
Right.
In fact, there is every canopy has a special um, anchorage
Mhm.
that you can remove very fast in case of there is any emergency or there is a fire or anything. And we had to design that fixing
Mhm.
and make a test with the fireman. So the firemen were happy with that fixing and test it. So they are sure there would not be any inconvenience when there is an emergency in the street. And make that and discuss with the city council and discuss with the fireman and design and discuss with the city council and discuss with the fireman and then make the prototype and test the prototype. That was the hardest things of the green shades, and is not is and this is the regulations always are the worst thing to confront in any project, in any design. And this is something that keeps behind the beautiful
Yeah.
solution.
You start this company and you're so excited to create, but then there's this whole other side to it that you have to deal with all these regulations that are the not fun part of it.
The,
In contrast to that, what would you say are one or some of the most exciting or rewarding projects that you've worked on?
that we have done or we are going to
Either one that you're going to
do.
do or that you've completed, whichever you choose.
Okay. I guess the project I feel more proud is the vertical garden of the Palace of Congresses in Vitoria,
Mm.
because it's a vertical garden with an species selection that reproduces the ecosystems around the city of Victoria.
Wow.
There are four ecosystems around the city of Victoria: a mountain ecosystem, a plain ecosystem, a agricultural ecosystem, and a wetland ecosystem. And we brought plants from every ecosystem to the vertical garden, reproducing the patterns and the species into the vertical garden. So this is the project I feel more proud. For the project to come, the next project or the next big thing we are working in is we have recently presented a patent here in Europe, in the United States, and in China, of a green roof system that is able to capture water from dew.
Oh, wow.
So here we had a problem with green roofs. That is, everyone wants a green roof, but no one wants the irrigation system and the maintenance and everything. So we have been like for 3, 4 years developing that system. And it's a green roof system that is able to capture the dew, the atmosphere water, without energy, only
Wow.
with the surface it has, and irrigate the plants, so you don't need to do any maintenance
So
in the green roof.
there would be no irrigation. Is that
Yeah.
right? And
It,
is that with certain plants that you would be using, or how would that work? Or is it under top secret right now?
no, it is patented. So
Okay.
if you give me 1 minute, I can bring a prototype and
Yeah.
show it to you.
Yes.
So this is a prototype. This is not the final thing. But as you can see, there are some pyramids. Those pyramids are designed to capture dew water,
Mhm.
and there is a substrate in between the layers of the panel. This panel is not perforated, but should be perforated and planted. So plants grow here, and dew water goes to the fall and irrigates the plant. So it's a green roof system that does not need any irrigation system and does not need maintenance. And the substrate contains everything that the plant needs to grow. So also you do not need to bring ground or dirt or any substrate to the green roof.
That is very exciting. I would love to see that evolve all over the world. And that would be specific for green roofs. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. It is because only green roofs are able to capture the water.
Mm,
Vertical gardens, oh, I would love to do that with vertical gardens, but this is another challenge, different to this one.
right. And so when we're talking about projects that you're working on in the future, how do you see the future of urban sustainability evolving in Spain and globally? Do you think it's really catching on, within your own business and other businesses that are trying to do the same thing? Or what are your thoughts around that?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yeah, how do you see the future of, I guess, working with sustainability in cities, like the future of green projects in evolving in Spain or even globally? Do you see it really catching on, or is it a very slow process? How have you seen it within your own company and seen other people in their companies globally?
I think that nature-based solutions are very new,
Hmm.
um, are adopted very slowly, and that slow adoption makes sense because not every nature-based solution is equally functional or is equally well maintained or is not in the point of the technology is mature.
Mm-hmm.
So the adoption is slow, but but I mean we are growing like 20% every year, every year, every year. It's not a very, very big growing, but and it's the same for the whole market of
Mm.
green, green solutions here in Spain and at Europe. I don't know how it is in the United States or in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense because, as I have told you, nature-based solutions are so new that architects or people do not use them or do not exploit their potential. I mean, for
Yeah.
example, everyone sees a vertical garden. I want a vertical garden and installs a vertical garden in the facade because the vertical garden is beautiful.
Yeah.
And this is great. But when you realize that are some system of vertical garden that can really be a nature-based solution. I mean, can do something for you better than other things. I mean, for example, the vertical garden works better than an air conditioning system, or
Mm.
a biological pool works better than a chlorine pool and makes the things better than we could do with regular technology. So um, now we are realizing that thing that is a thing that is really useful, not only green, not only beautiful. And this is like 20 years
Hmm.
before the green solutions were invented.
So people just need to learn more about it, and word needs to spread, information needs to travel more before people will actually adopt it and learn the benefits of why they should be doing this.
Hmm. Yes,
Mhm.
the I mean, what I my message for that is sometimes people see a green solution and only think it's beautiful, or they have the benefits in their head, but they don't realize how useful are or how to implement that solutions in their home or in their building or in their office. And in that mood of using green solutions, they implement other green solutions that are not useful or are not well used in their specific case. So we are, as a society, we are still learning about that.
Right. There's still a lot to figure out. And like you said, how to do it right.
Sorry?
And
How?
like you said, how to implement it correctly. People might have a good idea, but not actually do it correctly, and their vertical garden dies, or, not going through all the steps to make it work.
Maybe the problem is not a vertical garden dying because a vertical garden dying is a matter if you maintain it well or not. It's a matter that if you want a vertical garden, for example, you have a building with four facades.
Mhm.
The best facades to install a vertical garden to improve the bioclimatic behavior of the building are east and west. If you install the vertical garden at the south facade or at the north facade,
Mhm.
you are doing contrary to the bioclimatical behavior of the building. Uh, but people does not think about that. They only want a vertical garden and they install vertical garden. And then the building is worse.
Right.
Um, I mean, that kind of things happens. I mean, oh no, I am using a green solution, so it would be better for sure. No, it's not necessarily that.
I just learned something new. I wouldn't have even thought about where in a building or what side of a building you're going to put a vertical garden. But now that you've said that, it absolutely makes so much sense. So you really need the experts to help you out. Jordi, if people are looking to find out more about Singular Green, what you're working on, or if they want to do business with you or work with you, how can they find out more?
Okay, we have our webpage, singulargreen.com. You can follow us in YouTube, in Instagram. Most of the content is in Spanish, but we have some content in English. We have distributors along Europe, and I hope soon we will have a distributor in the United States, uh, sooner than later. But it's kind of the North America is kind of unknown for me.
Hmm.
It's so far and so different.
That's very
Um,
exciting. And I will say that you definitely do have enough English content on all of your, social media or your website for people who don't speak Spanish to understand because I can understand some of the translations.
okay. In fact, now with the artificial intelligence, we are going to translate the whole videos we have to English
Yeah, and
because it's
I've
really
watched
easy.
some of them. So you're already doing it. It's great. It's so nice to just to be able, like we were talking about, just to be able to share more globally what you're working on and grow your audience so more people can get access to your knowledge and expertise.
We have realized that, and we are working on it. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, is there anything else you wanted to add or share before we wrap it up?
No, thank you very much, Kim. This is first my first podcast interview in English. So it's been a pleasure.
This has been so much fun learning about Singular Green and what you do and your mission. And I've just, I feel like I'm so much happier just looking at the screen and seeing all the screen behind you. So I totally understand the benefits of vertical gardens. And I wish you all the luck and success going forward with your expansion. That's really exciting.
Thank you very much.